Well, guess what happened? Go back to my channel. I'm very sorry. Yes, I know what to do. It's telling me to move device. This is pretty nice. I gotta tell you, it actually works really well. And you know, you can look all around, and the resolution's pretty good. And yeah. Yep. And you can see the moon up there. Oh, the moon's looking great. It's huge. Yep. So, anyway. Yeah, guys, I'm just really sorry that I messed that up again. I think what I did was, I think I accidentally, when I was adjusting my phone, because I'm doing a lot. I mean, this phone is running the 360 software with Wi-Fi with a camera. It's running an internet connection on the SIM card, and it's running Wi-Fi direct hotspot for this device. And yeah, so it was getting kind of warm. So what I did was why does this do this? Slide left or right to sleep, move device to explore video. Every time I touch the video to move it, it's telling me, you know, but it doesn't do anything when it's telling me, it gives me the instructions. I don't want the instructions. Okay. Anyway, I'm losing all my viewers because you guys are getting sick of it, so I'm sorry, but anyway, I was trying to explain a couple things. So I'm just so happy that tonight is the regular moon. I mean, the full moon. So I've got my lounge chair up here, and recently I've been actually sleeping in this in my bedroom because I find that it doesn't hurt my back and it feels pretty good. So what I'm going to do is, when this live stream is over, I'm going to leave all my stuff charged, you know, plugged in so it can charge. And like the 360 camera's charged, it's charging up really nice. It's up to yeah, it's charged, so we can do a marathon if we wanted to. I have electrical power up here, you know, with all the chargers. I got like 2 battery banks, but they're plugged in. Hey, welcome back, Mike. Thanks. So I mean, I literally could broadcast for hours if I wanted to. It looks like everything's keeping caught up here. I'm just not sure. If you look down here, you know, if you look down here below, you can see a bunch of wires, and on the foot of the tripod, actually my foot here that's moving, on that tripod, you can see down there are these lights right down here. If you just look down, and this is one of my biggest battery chargers, and that guy has my mobile phone in it. It's charging, and it also is charging the camera, and it has 2, you know, it has a USB-A and a USB-C. And I've got another 30-watt charger, which I'm going to use for my drone when I finally get it. It has a USB-A and a USB-C. Yeah, which is why I wanted to do this. I mean, it's not high res, it's only 1080p. And when you're doing 360, you know, and 360 is spread around 1080p, it's just not that high res. But even like if I was to use my mobile phone in Prism, you couldn't see that. But what it is now is you can see it you know, in relationship with, you can see it relative, you know, to, to me where I'm sitting up here on the roof of my house. That's the main thing. That's really what I wanted to do, was to, you know, just hang out in the lounge chair, and you see the buildings behind me. And of course, you know, if you scroll off to the side, you know, you can see the ring light up there and stuff. I had to have the ring light though, because you know, these other lights that I got here and up here behind me, I think if they were on, I think it would kind of destroy the mood. See, I didn't want to face the moon. I wanted the moon behind me. So what I'm going to do later, after I finally get done goofing around with these live streams, because it's only midnight, when I get done goofing around with these live streams, I'm just going to leave everything connected. I'm going to put the cover on the camera to protect it. But I'm going to kick back, man, you know, and this is a lounge chair, so it goes, you know, it goes back. I got to be careful. I don't want to kick the tripod, but yeah. Oh, yep. I mean, the thing goes back. And like I was starting to tell people before I accidentally, like, touched my phone the wrong way and made it all, you know, when I shut off the live stream, I think that's what happened. I think I touched the stop button. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, before that happened, excuse me, I had been I was telling you that I had been sleeping in this room, in my bedroom, in this lounge chair, because it doesn't hurt my back. And it's kind of funny because I've gotten in kind of a routine now. Did that didn't do that. That didn't do that. No. This isn't reframed. So, move device to explore video, but it doesn't work because this device doesn't have the inertial stuff in it. I got to move it like this. Okay, anyway. So yeah, I've been sleeping in the lounge chair because it doesn't hurt my back. This chair has an integrated pillow, and the pillow slides up and down in rails. It can go all the way up to the top. It could be a pillow for your head, or it can be down here where I got it now, which is where I need it, in the lumbar. I got another pillow that I use. So what I do, this really started when I got COVID. Gosh, you know, I still can't believe that I actually got COVID-19, and I said it. Whenever I say I had COVID, it just weirds me out. Oh, which, by the way, I read today that the U.S. and many other companies or countries are now accepting Taiwan's digital COVID certificate. Good. So what I was going to say was, I was stuck in that room because I wanted to quarantine myself from my wife, and then eventually she did get it a couple days later. It doesn't lay completely flat, but it lays really darn flat. And the thing, that's what I was going to say. When I was in my bedroom, I was in agony because my bed is really old. I need to replace it. And I mean, you got COVID, what are you going to do? I had a period of time, I think I was telling you guys about it. You probably remember when my back hurt really bad. I got one of those foam rollers, and I was doing all kinds of exercises, and it helped so much. I went to a 70-year-old, like, massage therapist, you know, and boy, that guy was like a kung fu master. And anyway, the bed really hurt me, and I had an auxiliary, like a mattress top, kind of cool. And one side is fabric, one side is bamboo, which what we had in Asia, you know, with the bamboo on one side, you know, and the and the fabric on the other. So that, like, it depends on what the season is. If it's cold, you put the fabric up, and if it's hot, you put the excuse me, you put the bamboo side up. So Jay was asking me, have you had any brain fog? You know, I'm going to rely on you guys to tell me that. The answer that I would give you, Jay Boy, is not that I know of. I have not had those situations where I have felt confused or didn't know, you know, what I'm doing or what to do next. Or, you know, am I coming? Am I going? Am I, you know, am I? So right now, I'm just tired. When I was sleeping, right, with COVID, and I always lay on my side. Ever since my back got, you know, the injury, I always lay on my side. I use a full body pillow. I put extra pillows if I need between my knees to separate my legs so they don't fall together and my hips go together. But and I use the full body pillow, and I put my arm on it too, and it helps support, you know, my shoulder and the whole thing. But Jay Boy, I mean, I'm not, you know, I'm going to depend on you guys to tell me. I mean, do you guys, you know me all these years, do you think, I mean, do I sound any different? Do I have any brain fog? I'm just kind of tired. But I seem to be able to, you know, like you guys have heard me do these long train of thought kind of, you know, live streams where we'll talk about something, and Mike will ask me a question, and I'll talk about something, you'll ask me a question, and I'm going, you know, and I'll take a side and come back, and, you know, all that other stuff. And so I don't feel, you know, that I do, because I still want to go back and talk about why I love the moon so much, you know, because still kind of in queue in the back of my mind. But Mike was asking me about the lounge chair. The thing I like about it is that I will say it has that pillow that slides up and down. It can be, you know, because sometimes it just depends. I'll put it up here and it'll be for my head, but most of the time you've probably never seen it because it's down here in my lumbar support area, and I move it right, you know, up and down just right where I need it. And it's like, it's perfect. And I have a memory foam pillow that I bought, which I don't know why, because I don't like them, but for this, it's about this square, and for this purpose is great. But what I like about this chair is that it goes, if this is the head, it goes down to the butt, and then it goes up, and then the legs go down like that. But what I always do is I put some pillows underneath it. So I know, that's well, they're calling it the B4A or something, or the B5A. I said something on the Tascam forums, and one Dutch guy went off on me about being a conspiracy theorist or some crap. I got really mad. I just signed out. I haven't gone back. I don't need people to fact check me. But what I said was, these variants are so different, they need their own Greek letter. Look, I just had COVID. It was obviously Omicron. But the B4 and B5 variants, that's what you had, the 2.75. See, they're calling them 4 something 4 and something 5. I just call them 4 and 5. They evade immunity. Well, if they evade immunity, then what is it? Why is it like, you know, Rev 1, you know, 0.1? Why don't you just make it Rev 2? You know what I'm saying? Oh, there's that green line again. That's cool. Wonder what that is. I mean, you know, Greek letters are cheap. They don't cost anything. None of these things cost anything. Oh, really? Okay, see, I'm not aware of that. So we'll have a discussion in the late night group. What I can do, Jay Boy, is I can forward in the late night group the news reports that have come out over the last couple of days about the new variants in Taiwan, because they said that the new, I guess it's the BA4 or something, they found their first community, transmission, and I'm like, okay, great. The only redeeming factor is that, okay, it's just like the flu, you're going to get it, but at least having had it should prevent you from going like really deep down into super severe cases, into a super severe case. Is this light too bright? You guys want me to turn this light down? It's up to you. You're watching. COVID did something to me, and I didn't know I had it. I went, I took the test. I had a fever, and I was going to go to my doctor. The whole story is this. I take heart medicine for palpitations, right? And I always knew that, like, oh boy, COVID likes to attack people that have any kind of cardiac problems. And I absolutely do not have a problem with my heart. My heart is in great condition. My doctor looks at my numbers. He looks at like my EKG and everything. And, I'm like, he said, I could be 25 years old on paper. It's not, there's nothing like that. There's no calcification. There's no swelling. There's, the muscles, the wall thickness, everything. So it's something with a control system. But I found out after I got my heart monitor that it's basically two things. It's electrolytes and it's stimulants like coffee. So I went back to taking colloidal minerals and electrolytes, okay? Well, okay, J-Boy, okay. I haven't had a specific heart MRI, but I had a full body MRI when I blew my disc, but that was a long time ago. I've had like 10 or 15 EKGs, and I had the monitor. By the way, my monitor stopped working. I got to send it back. That's another thing. All right, let me. Okay, you made an interesting point. Let me get back to that in just a second. I'd like to talk to you about that. But here's what I'm saying. I kept looking at that thing. I posted that in late night group, and I posted it on Instagram. It's like you do the swab on both sides. You put it in the liquid. You do the hokey pokey. You squeegee it out. Put the cap on, and you put 4 drops in the thing. Let me tell you, I put 1 drop in it, and that red line on T was like in my face. I was like, what? And it said that, the results are not valid unless you measure between 15 minutes and 30 minutes after you apply those drops. And I'm talking about 15 seconds or maybe 15 milliseconds. That thing was, those 2 lines. I mean, it took a minute for the control line to come up. But the T line was like, just in my face, right? So I knew I had it, and it looked, I don't know if it's any indication how quickly that thing went into suspension. That may indicate a high viral load, I don't know. But I started thinking, well, I didn't know I had COVID, and I always thought COVID, it's scary, man. And even you were saying it would never equate flu as much worse than flu, right? But for me, the last flu I had was about 5 years ago. And we have a clinic in my neighborhood. It's great. I can walk down the street. It's between here and the chicken place. You guys, and the laundromat, okay? You see me walk by it. The last flu that I had, I thought I was going to die. I went there and he gave me the swab, and he was going to identify if it was A or B, and the test, he said, well, it's not A, it's something else. but it's flu, and he gave me Tamiflu, and it took 5 full days for me to pull out, and I pulled out immediately after 5 days. Tamiflu was great. Never took it before. It's first experience and only experience with Tamiflu. I never felt even close to that with COVID, but I was expecting it. See, that's the thing. It was a sword of Damocles. I was reading stories about how people would be diagnosed with COVID on Monday, they'd be dead on Friday. And Monday, Tuesday, they were okay. And Wednesday, something happened. And Thursday, they spiraled, and Friday, they crashed. And I kept reading that. I kept reading these stories, right? And I was like, man, what is stopping me from doing this? But even though I'm fat and, well, some people say I'm out of shape, but man, I got a lot of energy and I got a lot of strength. You guys that know me and seen me in person, you know what I'm talking about. Because Casper comes over and he says, MJ, you pump me up, man. I feel so energized when I leave. Well, that's how I am, But I recognized that I had to really take it easy, because you guys know me, and I run always a sleep deficit. I run between 10 and 15 hours sleep deficit. That's bad. I do it all the time. And I was determined not to do that. So I brought this lounge chair up in the room, and the vaccines did. I mean, I had 3 shots of the Medigen, which is, a traditional, it's so mild. But my friend was telling me he had the messenger RNA, and every single time, and he got COVID, he said the messenger RNA reaction was worse than the COVID. I was like, wow. Because the first time I got my first shot with Medigen, the protein subunit, I felt kind of tired. The second one, I was like, you sure you gave it to me? And the third one, I couldn't even tell I had a shot. So when I finally got COVID, always in the back of my mind was, you might crash. You might crash. You might crash. You might have a situation, but I didn't really believe it, because I was taking all the supplements. Like I said, even though I'm fat, I mean, I'm careful about certain things, and I fasted. I wanted my insulin to drop. I wanted my blood glucose to drop, and I had a fever for 2 days, and then after that, it was nothing. And here's another thing too. I know this is kind of gross, but you guys know what I'm talking about. When you get bronchitis and you've got congestion in your lungs and it's in your sinuses, and you spit it out, it's green or it's yellow, but usually it's green, and it's dark green. And that is indicative of a bad infection. And I had, I would, and I spit, because I want to see it, I would spit into, a tissue, and I look at it, it's white. I would I'd go into the sink, I'd spit it white. It never turned green. It never got clumpy. I've had cases of bronchitis that were worse than COVID. This is sputum, yeah. Thank you, Mike. This is interesting. AstraZeneca is an mRNA. Is it not? Because I read something about AstraZeneca. Actually, Heather Haying, who's Brett Weinstein's wife, said that she wanted that. Wait a minute, I think you're right. But AstraZeneca is, I don't know what it is. You know what? These days, there's so many billions and billions of dollars. I don't want to say anything, but I read that it's bad for some reason. But the one thing that is upsetting me is that there's no non-messenger RNA vaccine in Taiwan for children. My daughter's 9 years old. She got COVID, and it was a walk in the park for her, which probably means that if she gets it again, it'll be okay. But if there was, I wrote to the Taiwan FDA, I kind of yelled at them. I said, why are there no non-messenger RNA vaccines. I didn't try to sound like an anti-vaxxer. I tried to sound like a logical parent. I said, my daughter's had all her shots that are required by law, and they're all protein subunit traditional vaccines. Why isn't there a traditional vaccine that's protein subunit for COVID-19 for children? And they wrote back to me and they said, because no company has done the clinical trials and has applied for it. And I said, your job, I wrote back to him, as the FDA is to be proactive in protecting public health. You need to get them to do it, to whatever it takes, so that parents like me have choices for our children. And I didn't hear back from them, and they didn't like it. But AstraZeneca has a high death rate. All those are published, that I can say. All those are published in Taiwan. And when AstraZeneca was first available in Taiwan, my wife's father said, don't give it to me, I don't want to die. He was like almost crying, I don't want to die, don't give it to me, I don't want to die. He was afraid that the damn vaccine was going to kill him. Now, J-Boy, I know you said that you wouldn't equate it to flu. It's much worse than flu. I feel bad reading this. You said, I have had worse flu, but nothing like COVID, for sure. I'm going to tell you, when I had COVID, I still felt like, sex drive and hunger, and I wanted to go out and go to the Jar and have a beer in the afternoon, all the normal things, and I wanted to exercise, and I did. I had the exercise bike, and I have my dumbbells. I was doing hammer curls and stuff and riding the bike, in the room. And so, unfortunately, for you, that it was a really, really bad experience. But for me, it was nothing. And the other thing that happened, so AstraZeneca is not mRNA. I'm going to look at that again, okay? I'm going to look at that again. I'm not sure if they've approved that. I know they've approved Moderna and Pfizer. And let me tell you something. I won't even use Viagra because it's made by Pfizer. I can't stand that company. So, yeah, and let me tell you one thing though, because this whole thing started, this will tell you whether I have brain fog or not, because I was starting to tell you about the fact that I have these heart palpitations and things, right? See, I don't think I have brain fog. And I was running out of medicine. This was the whole thing. I was running out of medicine. I had to go to the doctor, and I had a fever. And so the doctor's rules are, if you have a fever, you have to take a home test. Because the Taiwan government's made sure that everybody has enough rapid tests for home, right? So I took a rapid test, and that's when I got the positive. And I was like, okay, great. So I called the doctor, and he had told me that I need to take the test. And I said, okay. So after I took the test and I was positive, I sent my wife with my health insurance card to his office to get my medicine. And he wrote a hand note to me because she told him that, see, she took it, I tested positive. Within 1 hour, I told my wife two things. You need to go get Phoenix in a taxi and get her out of school now. You need to go to the doctor and get my medicine because I'm having heart palpitations. I am going to go to downtown Hukou and get in the assembly line that they have set up for patients that have rapid tests that are positive. Because what Taiwan started doing was, I'll look at it in a second, Mike. They started accepting home positive tests as definite positive tests. What they would do is have a doctor look at it I don't know why, but maybe they can tell by looking at it whether it was goofed up or something. But they just said it was verified. So there was a guy standing there in a booth, looked like, you know, one of those space movies. You know, he was inside wearing, you know, protective gear, and he had gloves sticking out of the box, and he would grab the thing and look at it and stuff and hand it back to the nurse. And so I went there, and they gave me 4 kinds of medicine, just like antihistamine, anti-cough, headache, muscle pain, that kind of stuff, just standard symptom treatment stuff. No antivirals, no nothing, which is interesting. Because I thought they were going to try to give me Paxlovid and some other things, right? My wife came home. But before she came home, when she was still at the doctor, she used her phone and took a picture of a hand-scribbled note. I wish I had Prism right now. I could show you that note because it's on my phone. Do not take Paxlovid, he said. He wanted to make sure that I did not take Paxlovid for COVID-19. He was adamant about that. Because Paxlovid interacts adversely, especially with cardiac medications, and that's what I take. So there's 2 things that I want to tell you, but let me read this. You said that oh, okay. Well, what it is, you're casting it to the TV. If you have the YouTube app on the TV, because I've watched 360 on my 55-inch. If you have an Android TV with the YouTube app, go to the app. And what will happen is it'll tell you that, you know, your up and down, left and right arrows, you can look around. That should get you what you need. But I think it's because you're casting to it that it kind of resorts to a default view. So, but yeah, it works well on a tablet because you're looking at it on the native app. So try your TV. It'll take a second, but that's okay. Yeah, the doctor's diligent. He's really amazing. He's really great. So that was Thursday, and then by Saturday, my wife and Phoenix were at the hospital, and she wanted to go to the hospital in Cinchu City, so that's what we did. And I got my official document, you know, from the government. It told me that I was not allowed to leave my house until July 1st, and what the penalties would be, and that they would use, you know, GPS and Wi-Fi data tracking, and there was nothing I could do about it, but that's just how it is. So I'll look at AstraZeneca, but AstraZeneca, I remember AstraZeneca was one of the, see, when at the beginning of this whole thing, Brett Weinstein was talking about these, and he was talking about them with, you know, Robert Malone and Dr. Corey, and I remember his wife, Heather Haying, saying AstraZeneca's the one that I want, and I looked at it, I was like, no, it was bad, so I just, you know, anyway. So here's the other thing. What I noticed was, and I told my doctor this because I got 10 days worth of medicine. Because I wasn't able to physically myself. Yeah, in this case they do, for violators. And then the data is deleted in 30 days. So yeah. Let me explain something. Taiwan has a digital minister, Audrey Tang, T-A-N-G. Audrey, actually I've had one interaction with Audrey on Twitter. I mean, how cool is that? I'm nobody, and she's the digital minister of Taiwan, and she's responsible for all these programs and developing all this stuff. Taiwan came from authoritarianism. They hate it. So now we have an open, free society that's more open and more free than any other society that I've ever had experience or can even think of or have ever heard of. So when they do slightly authoritarian stuff, it's for a very good reason and for a very short time. And in this case, how else are you going to know if somebody is a violator? And in a case of a pandemic, a violator causes big problems. And there were a couple cases where a guy was in a quarantine hotel and he stepped out into the hall and the security camera saw him and they fined him $1 million NT dollars, which is 30,000 US dollars. And that's what he should get. Another guy decided he just didn't want to do it anymore, and he left. He went shopping. He's going to the night market, having a blast. He went to a hot pot restaurant or something. I mean, who knows how many hundreds or potentially thousands of people got infected by this clown because he didn't want to stay home for a week. You know, it makes a difference. And anyway, so, wow, these artifacts are cool. I got to go back and look at that, so. Haha. Yeah, well, on the world stage I am, but thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. So let me get back to these heart palpitations. So my doctor gave me 10 days worth of medicine because when my wife takes my insurance card, it's not me. And so I can't get the insurance subsidy. I have to pay full price for the medicine because my wife's buying it. So the doctor said, all right, don't take 30 days, just take 10 days. He'll be over the virus. Have him come in after he's over the virus. So I did. My test was negative on July 1st, and I think I went the next day. But I'd almost run out of medicine, but it had only been 7 days because he gives me a dose for twice a day. So I told him this COVID virus was looking for a way to get me. And every time the medicine started to wear off, about every 8 hours, I started getting premature ventricular contractions. And he was like, really? I said, yes, sir. If I did not take a third dose of medicine, I started having very, very uncomfortable drop beats, and it was enough to concern me, the frequency of them. Because even, like everybody has drop beats, right? Everybody has like little things their heart do goofy things. But doctors will tell you, if you have like 3 sets of an episode within a 60-second period of time, you need to go to the doctor. There's something going on. It happens to me a lot. But it happens to me if I drink a bunch of coffee. And so then I just go, yeah, I was stupid, and I take an extra dose of medicine, and I just very carefully watch what I do and don't. I do some exercises and things, but try not to exacerbate it, anymore. And I certainly don't take it. And I won't go drink tea after that. I'm drinking water and I'm taking electrolytes. Electrolytes are one of the most important things for reducing heart palpitations. And I'm going to tell you, I'm the first one. I've not been taking my colloidal minerals, and I got this after I got actually just coincidentally, just before I got COVID, I had just ordered another bottle of fulvic minerals, and I've been taking them. So the first couple days when I had COVID, it wasn't a problem, but towards the end, remember I told you guys, this is the weirdest thing. I felt like it was smart. And now that I think about it, I felt like the virus was looking for some way to get in and attack me and do something. And it goes, aha, you have heart palpitations. And so I told my doctor this, and he prescribed me this month's medication 3 times a day. So I got way more medicine at my disposal. I carry pill bottles around. I've shown you about it. Muji, which is a Japanese store. They have these completely clear little capsules, and they stack. You know, they got threads up and down, up and down. They make like, you know, little compartmental. It's pill bottles, and they're round, so it's a cylinder. It's really cool. Excuse me. And I have those loaded up, and they hold a month. Well, actually, they hold. Not. I've got it worked out so when I run out of that medicine, I've got 5 days left. So if I fill my pill bottles up and I run out, I go, okay, I got five days worth of medicine in my bag. That gives me a couple days so I can figure out, okay, I need to get back to the doctor, which is really good, because if it's on a Sunday or if it's on a national holiday, you know, you don't want to be like scrambling to try to find something. So I have like twice as much medicine now, it seems like, because I got all my pill bottles filled, and I got a whole big bag of stuff left over, which is good. So even before I came up to do the live stream tonight, you know, it was like around 10 something, took a dose, which I ordinarily would not do. And today I went to Starbucks, the day that I had the worst day of my life with the palpitations, and I told my wife, I said, you know, I might die. This might be it. I'm not sure. And that's going to bring me back to the other thing, which I wanted to say, what COVID did to me in a good way. I went to Starbucks, and it wasn't today. It was yesterday, and I got a cold brew, the small one, with a little, you know, like a latte, and I didn't finish it because I felt that it was really like trying to give me heart palpitations. So here I am, I got COVID, and I'm sitting around and I'm thinking, am I gonna die or not? Boy, that moon is really cool. It's really, really making its way around, because when I started, it was behind me. You can see it's clearly beside me, right? This building that you see underneath the moon is right beside me. I can see, right here, I can see my peripheral vision just by looking like that. So you get COVID and you're thinking, you know, are you going to die? And I'm like, at first, I really don't know. I really don't know. I could fall off the cliff at the end. By the end of this week, my kid could have no father. And so, one of the things that it actually did for me was it motivated me. And I told you that I had a lot of sleep, and I was getting like anywhere between 12 and sometimes even up to 16 hours a day extra sleep. And the other thing that I did, now you guys know I got this razor, something else I want to talk to you about too. You know, I got the Panasonic Arc 5, and you guys have heard me talk about this and all that. And I made sure that every other day, you know, I took an hour every day except for 1 or 2 days. 1 or 2 days where my routine got so off, I slept for like 14 hours or something. I just didn't take a shower. But I didn't leave my room, and it was air conditioned, you know, and it's like, wasn't like I, you know, rode my bike in the hot sun and just went to bed. I think you understand what I mean. It's just, you gotta be reasonable about things, right? The fever and the body pain, I only had my worst fever. I was just thinking about this. I think I made a mistake when I said the other day. My worst fever was like 39.1. But most of my time it was 38.67 and 8. And like maybe one day of 38.9. I didn't have a fever, and it was only for 2 days. Something's going on with how that whole All right. Okay, we're back on. It's actually quit and I restarted it. I'm sorry. Okay, so here we go. So everybody's okay. Everybody's still with us. That's cool. Okay, so what I did was I got all this sleep. Okay, so I got all this extra sleep. It had a profound positive experience on my voice. My voice went back to being like 30. A couple of nights ago, I went over to Athula's place. You guys know him, the Sri Lankan guy that does the wonderful curry stuff. And he had some Filipino folks there doing like some karaoke. And I sang Foreigner's Hot-Blooded. You know that song? Well, I'm hot-blooded, check it and see, in full voice. Like I did when I was in my 20s. It was amazing. So now I feel energized, and the whole thing that I kept thinking was, I got this studio, I got about 10 or 12, I don't even know, guys, I don't know. I got and because those of you who have been to my place and have been coming here, and like Dave and Casper and others, man, I mean, I have so many songs in progress, but I start them, right? I did see it. It's not that, yeah, the salt contains electrolytes. And no, you're right, it's amazing. And it's actually sea salt. Yeah, it's a sea salt, so that's what makes it so amazing. Absolutely right. Yes, sir. And there are many different kinds of salts, and I was saying you should probably mix them even. Because there's, there's the pink salt, and I've seen some, you know what I'm talking about. It's a good idea to mix them all up. So here I am. I'm singing this crazy stuff, but when I had COVID, all I kept thinking was, if I die, my wife knows the password of my computer, but she's going to go downstairs. There's 2 consoles she can't operate. I'm going to have one of my friends from Taipei, one of my bros from the studio business, and he'll know how to dispose of this stuff and get the maximum amount of money. But I have all these projects that nobody's going to ever hear. Nobody will take the time to figure out what I was doing and mix them or release them or do anything. So it's all done. Not that that really matters, except that my family won't get any benefit out of it. See, if I release it and it makes money, then my heirs can. Do you see what I'm saying? That's all I'm caring about. I don't care about being a big star when I'm dead. What I care about is my family being taken care of. So now this has motivated me, and since COVID, I finished the guitar parts, and all I have to do is the lead vocal and the other embellishment parts for the lead vocal and the lead guitar, and I'm going to release my first single with my daughter. I'm going to do it. I'm just doing it. I'm just doing it, man. And I'm sounding better. I'm playing better. And I started another project for a friend of mine, and I'm doing a cover. But don't tell him. It's just for him. He's going to love it. I have 10 songs for clients backed up in the queue that I need to mix. Things are good. I have plenty of energy. Even today, I was recognizing that, of course, I'm falling back into my bad habits, so I need you guys to kind of kick me a little bit in the shins. Please check your network connection. Okay? Maybe my yeah, I don't know. Okay. Well, we'll see. It's actually nice and cool. Anyway, whatever. This is crazy. Here we go. Okay. This new fan that I got is still running, and it's really keeping that phone nice and clear, nice and clean. All right, let me turn this off, and I'll reconnect to the 9T Pro because I've lost I'm still on the air, but I have lost your. There you go. Okay. Excellent. My path is fun to watch. Oh, Moon is looking good. Thank you. Phoenix says a cool father. Hey, appreciate that. Appreciate that, Mike. Thank you. Well, you know, kids often don't appreciate their parents, but I think my daughter does. You know, and she tells her, you know, her classmates, my daddy's got a studio and stuff. They don't really, you know, understand it, but they will. So I'm pushing forward. I got 10 songs in the queue, and I got a lot of work in the studio and potential for more. I don't really even advertise. If you look at my website, I don't have any rates or anything. I haven't really pushed it, but I'll start doing some ads. I'll start doing some Google ads too, you know, and maybe some ads on my live stream. And I want to do, when the studio's done being rebuilt and it looks better and everything's all, you know, YouTube ready, I'm going to be doing some tutorials and some other, you know, content videos on YouTube, you know, from my studio. But I got to finish these things and release them because I want to have a legacy that can benefit, you know, my family. All right. Now, talking about shaving and stuff. You guys see this spot on my face right here? This dark spot? And you can pinch and you can zoom in and you can, you know, with the 360, you know, you can pinch and zoom, but the problem is when I'm looking in the mirror, the location of this little dark wound is that it's so far. If I'm looking in the mirror, it's not like it's something like on my forehead or my nose, you know, it's on the side. So I can only see it with one eye. I can't see it with my other eye. So, you know, and I'm picking at it. I thought it was a blackhead. So I'm kind of like a bull in a china shop. I squeezed the ever-loving crap out of it and it started bleeding. It wasn't a blackhead. I think I just cut my face. I don't know what it was. So shaving sucks, but not for me anymore. I love it. It is a ritual that I actually enjoy, and I look forward to whenever I do it because of the Panasonic Arc 5. And the wet, you have to get the wet and dry, it's my opinion. Dave bought the Arc 5, and he bought the dry-only version. He bought a compact version, which was really cool. They're actually smaller. They're made for travel. Just as powerful, same 14,000 cycles per minute motor, same five cutting heads. His has the rollers and stuff. It's a fantastic machine. I personally enjoy wet shaving, but I get just as good results with dry shaving. Sometimes I don't have time for wet shaving, you know, or I'm in the car and I just, you know, and 10 minutes later I arrive and I'm like, oh, it's great. It's the closest shaving electric razor there is. I can rival a blade. And that's one thing I was talking about with Dave when he and I were discussing this before. You know, we talk about a lot of stuff. You know, we're men. We talk about men's stuff and men's health and things. And when he got the Arc 5, I asked him, do you feel like, you know, it's as close or like reasonably as close as a shave that you're getting with a razor? And he said yes right away. So that's the one thing I love about it. But I was shaving over this spot and it's starting to hurt, you know. And right down the street in Jubei, not too far away, is a dermatologist doctor. And if you guys remember, a couple of years ago, I developed a dark spot on my forehead, and I went to that dermatologist, and she took the little cryogenic thing with a nozzle on it and just froze it, and it fell off, and that was the end of it. Fantastic. And so I went to her today because I don't know if this is skin cancer. I don't know what it is. She looked at it under magnification. She said it looks like a surface wound, and she gave me some ointment to put on 2 times a day. And then she gave me this really cool cream that you mix, like, I wash my face with different facial scrubs, because I enjoy that, and it cleans my face really well. But to deal with things like the large pores that sometimes men in particular have, because if we work in dirty environments like factories and stuff, it can make large pores. And so she gave me this stuff that what you do in your hand, you take the cream that you normally use to moisturize your face, put half of it in your hand, and then put the other half of this other stuff, and that, rub that together and put that on your face. And that's what I got from that doctor today. So tonight, when I take my shower before bed, I'm going to be using my normal facial scrub stuff, and that's what I'm going to do, the half and half with the cream after I get out of the shower. So it is, if it's too long to handle. Now the Arc 5's Achilles heel is the really long hairs and the flat lying hairs that can happen under here, like especially for me. For me, there's a junction line, like where my beard stops growing and then it's just neck and skin. Like down here, there's no beard down here, right? But you go up here and there is beard. And that line is a pain in the neck. I'm going over that line, going over, because the hairs are laying flat. The Arc 5 has a newly designed slit cutter in the center that helps with that. But I generally prefer wet shaving with my favorite shaving cream or gel, and I've kind of narrowed it down to a couple that I use regularly. And that helps a lot because it moisturizes the hair, the cuticle, and it stands up from the skin. It can be cut. But if your beard is too long, you got to trim it in order to cut it with a razor. And that goes for even with a bladed razor, because it just won't do the job. So I think, is J-Boy still with us? Yeah. Looking back at his comments, had quite a few comments. It's great. Just want to make sure I didn't miss any. I'm glad that last, I don't know why, I didn't touch the phone, nothing, and the phone is nice and cool. I got that fan blowing on, it's fantastic. It's still running. That battery's, it's 2,200 milliamp hours, works fantastic. Yeah, when I'm done with this live stream, I'm moving this out of the way. I'm turning this around, facing the moon. I'm kicking back, and I'm going to take a nap up here. I might not even get up until, okay, good, thanks. I might not even get up until the morning. Of course, it's great because it'll be like 4:30 or 5 a.m. and so I can still go downstairs and take a shower and get all cleaned up and stuff and get ready for the day. So that'd be good. But I'm falling back into my own habits, and for the last 4 nights I have not gotten enough sleep, and I'm not getting enough sleep tonight because it's 1:06 a.m. and I'm talking to you guys because that's what I do. I love talking to you guys. And I think I almost have the 360 kind of thing worked out. And the audio, I'm using the wireless mic with a dead cat, and I have the audio adapter for the Insta360 1X2. It's not in stereo that I can tell. I did some experiments today. I gotta check with, I gotta be absolutely sure with one more cable. See, what I wanted to do was I wanted to use my Zoom recorder. Guys, I showed you that one, right? My Zoom handy recorder in like stereo surround mode and send that stereo signal through a 3.5 millimeter TRS cable to the adapter. And I tried it today with the adapter cable that comes with the wireless microphone system, but I'm not sure that's wired for stereo. It may just be balanced, single channel audio instead of unbalanced dual channel audio. I don't know, but I have a cable that I know is wired for that, for stereo. So I'm going to try that later. So Mike has a question I had during the miss starts of the 360. I got to go back and look at the YouTube studio. There may be 3 or 4 missed starts. I don't know what was happening. But part of the problem is the lag. See, when you start the app, okay, this is what the app looks like. We're running it right now, but there's a big start button on it. And you can see that it's running because it's got the white border on it, and it looks like a stop button now, and on top of it is like a clock, broadcast clock. But what it is normally that's just a big red button, same as any other video button. So what it does is it takes you to the next page where you can decide where you want to stream to, whether it's an RTMP, like any other RTMPs, or if you would like to log into Facebook, or you'd like to log into YouTube and go 360. So you log into 360, excuse me, you do the, sorry, I'm getting notifications. Anyway, you do the connections, SNS connection. You choose YouTube, okay, then it takes you to Google, password, username, password stuff, verification, 2-step, all that, then it comes back. Okay, fine, so that's verified. Then ask you to title it. Now the thing is, the title from this app, you can only put like 3 words in it or something. I put the description in it, but I'm gonna have to go back in YouTube Studio. It sucks because you can't make a catchy title because all you can say is like live on 360 and that's all you got. I wanted to say late night with MJ Klein, SuperMoon marathon broadcast. No, but you can see it in the description. But that doesn't really help people who are browsing through live streams, and not that, some old fart sitting on the roof in the SuperMoon is going to mean anything, but some people like that. Long story short, the problem is once you press save and it saves that, it brings you back to the next, to the original page, right? And then you're wondering what's it doing, because when it saves, it says start live stream, and so a couple of times I pressed the button and it said live stream ended, and I realized that it was starting a live stream, and by me pressing the button I had ended it. So now I know not to do that. So anyway, field to ask. Oh, you mean before? You mean like because this is part 3, you were asking a question and it crapped out or something? Well, see if you can see if you can figure out what it is. Definitely, for sure. But yeah, I mean, I'm not having a party up here, not playing guitar, anything like that. I just wanted to come out with a SuperMoon. I want to do it in 360 because I would like to do more 360 content, but I wonder how you guys feel about it. I really wish that I could connect to 360. I really wish I could connect to 360 on the on Prism Live Studio. That would make my life so much easier. My thoughts on the James Webb Telescope. Do you guys realize the engineering that went into that thing? I know a lot of you do. But there are a couple of really amazing things. I read that it took a hit. One of the sensors got whacked, and I guess there was like a baseball-sized hole in one of them. Of course, what do? It's out in space. You can't put a force field around it like you could in Star Trek, you know. But you guys know what Lagrange points are, right? They're places of gravitational equilibrium, right? And they went to Lagrange too for a couple of reasons. But part of it too is because at that point the Earth sort of shields the sun's energy from hitting the telescope. That's important because they don't want it to heat up. See, the James Webb operates mostly in infrared. And, well, let's just say, it does both. It's a lot of non-visible light, part of the electromagnetic spectrum. And the problem is the shot noise just from the chips, just from, the amplifiers, if you will. Because, you can take like a stereo system at home with nothing connected to it, right? No music playing. I've just got your speakers on and no music playing, and you turn the volume up, what happens? Shh, that's shot noise. That's the noise floor of the amplifier. That's the theoretical limit. If there was any music playing and it was quieter than that, you couldn't hear it because the noise would mask it. Well, that principle applies across a lot of disciplines. Background noise, background radiation, or self-generated noise. And in this case, they're worried about self-generated noise because they're looking for signals that are so low, they're below the shh, And the only way that you can get that shot noise down, because it's basically atomic movement at the atomic level, is to get it down near absolute zero so it quiets down that movement. And so it was really brilliant, and they deployed a shield to cover it, but then they hid it behind the Earth in Lagrange 2. But there's a big problem with Lagrange 2. Nobody talks about this. You guys are going to love this. This may have to do with what happened to it getting whacked. Lagrange 2, it's obviously a gravitational equidistant point where it's balanced. The gravitation of all the different bodies are balanced. So you put an object there, it kind of stays there. But think about a swimming pool where you've got a pump and it's sucking water in from the bottom of the pool or in through the the flappers on the side, and there's movement, but there's always one part of the pool where all these currents kind of converge and they cancel out, and that's where you find all the leaves and all the junk, right? You know what I'm talking about? A lot of things are like that. And so Lagrange 2 is a trash collection point. A lot of space junk, not man-made necessarily, but just stuff out there floating around it reaches the Lagrange point, and it reaches a point where nothing is pulling it or pushing it, and it kind of stops because it's gravitationally equilibrium, I guess is the word, not the gravitational equilibrium. So let me tell you about what I think is the coolest thing about the James Webb Telescope that nobody talks about, is that it is not at Lagrange 2. It orbits Lagrange 2. Very small orbit. But the fact that it orbits Lagrange 2 is so it avoids the garbage patch in the middle of it. These NASA people are not like you and me. They're on another level. Genius level people that you could never have a conversation with because they don't understand you or me, and we don't understand them. Those people are on a different level, and they're unbelievable. And just to even think about that, how they put it at Lagrange 2 in an area of gravitational equilibrium and made it orbit it. That's just nuts. Yeah, supposedly that's true, yeah. Yeah, well, there's several Lagrange points, and they're, each one has their own advantage. I mean, if you had it, like, if you were stuck in space and you needed to park the damn thing to get out and do some work on it or something, you're far enough away. I mean, that would be a pretty cool place to park something, and if you have to unbolt some stuff and let it go, it's not going to go, it's going to kind of stay in the same area of equilibrium, I mean, if you had to do like a major, seriously, if this was like, the Star Trek universe and you had like a big ship and a bunch of stuff you needed to repair on it, those kind of Lagrange points might be a pretty good place to do it, because it's not like repairing a ship in the ocean. I mean, one of the biggest problems you have with working on stuff in the ocean is it floats away. I mean, even lifeboats don't stay together unless you tie them, right? So, but yeah, Moon is shielding some radiation from the sun. I haven't actually read that, but probably. The moon, I believe in creation, and the primary function of the moon is to protect the Earth. It deflects junk. It deflects garbage. It's done a very good job. It deflects major stuff. It's also beautiful, and it is what Genesis calls the illuminary of the night. It says that God created the illuminary for the day and the illuminary for the night, and it's just as fantastic, and I love it. And the fact that it is extraordinarily large for the size of the planet, some people think it means it's alien. I just think it means creation, because the other planets don't have life on them like this one does. You don't need to protect the other planets, but there's no coincidence. There's no coincidence that Proxima Centauri has exoplanets that are in the habitable zone. Well, of course it does, because they were put there because that's the first place that we're going to go when we leave Earth. So it better be like a hotel we can check into, or we're going to be stuck. I mean, how'd you like to travel, 4 light years to the next solar system and find out it was completely uninhabited? And, well, we're going to stay here for a little while, but I guess we got to turn around and go back. The whole thing about colonizing, I guess we brought all these cows with us for nothing, I guess. But yeah, assuming that they want to bring cows to my water. But yeah, you're right. It's pretty crazy that they even know what Lagrange point, what Lagrange 2 point really is. But like I said, these NASA people, they're on another level. I still like Billy Bob Thornton. That crazy movie Armageddon, man. Billy Bob Thornton is talking about those NASA guys. He's talking about this guy. He says he's pretty much, he has an IQ that pretty much makes him the smartest person on the planet. You probably want to listen to him, And that kind of stuff is true. They got people like that. They got people like that can say, oh, this is like the number 3rd smartest person on the planet. Even working like in Boston with the Audio Engineering Society and going to Audio Engineering Society meetings, there were guys that would just say something in a meeting and you'd be like, what the heck did he just say? Did he? And it's like, that's a concept that I never even considered, and this guy he's worked it out. It's like nuts. There's lots of guys like that, but I'm not one of them. Yeah, it really is. But the thing is, you read these articles, and I got to tell you something. I don't believe this. You know how they say that, when the moon rises, and especially like the supermoon, and it's near the horizon, and it looks absolutely huge, they say it's an optical illusion. I read an article about this 2 weeks ago, and the author said that people think that the atmosphere acts as a lens. Well, I mean, the sun does that too, doesn't it? I mean, I lived in Florida, and I lived on the West Coast, and, you're a little kid and you try to look at the sun and stuff, but, you see the sun is this big, but at night when it's going down and it's in the water, it's this big. I mean, I don't know. Are we being fooled? So this guy said that the next time that because usually he said, to me this doesn't make sense, because if talking about the ocean, it's one thing. But he said that, when the sun rises near the horizon and there isn't anything next to it for scale, I'm like, well, there's that building for scale. There's a piece of mountain that, I know how big that thing is. In Taiwan, there's all kinds of stuff for scale on the horizon, so like especially here, there's factories and all kinds of things. Well, the moon comes up over there, and there's a big Mitsubishi tower over there that's an elevator test platform, right? Test bed. But the guy said, hold your thumb out at arm's length when the moon is looking really, really big, and compare it to the size of your thumb, and then wait a couple hours later, it's up in the sky, and compare it again. Now, it looks smaller to me, but, my thumb covers it. But when I was coming home this evening with my family after we went out to eat, and I saw the moon up in the sky, and I said, hey, Phoenix, look at the moon. What's the first thing everybody says? It's so big. And they do in Taiwan too. Oh, how tall. It's like, wow, it's so big. What, is everybody fooled by this? I don't know, man. I don't know. But I swear, it looks bigger to me. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't care if it is bigger or not. I don't care if it is an optical illusion or not. I like it. I think it looks cool. And yeah, it's just one of those things that we can enjoy. Because I remember coming off the highway, and it was just the time of the year, because it does it does move where it comes up. The meridian line moves, and according to the season. And so we were coming off the highway, and I think it was probably in one of the colder months. And as we were coming up the ramp of the highway, and we just got like over the ridge, up on the top, there was the moon. It was like, whoa. Just like Dean Martin said, man, the moon in the sky like a big pizza pie. That's what it looked like. So anyway, I'm buying a drone, and I'm buying the DJI Mini 3 Pro. So I went to the store, and I walked over to the display area. They got one that's really cute. Oh, it's so cool. And they got the new controller, the RC with the built-in screen. And I'm like, hey, I want one of those. I want one of those. And it's like, we don't have them. They're not in stock, and we won't have them for another month. I'm like, oh. I'm going to Kaohsiung next week, guys. I'm staying there for a whole week, staying in a hotel. I'm going to do a Hago tour on Wednesday. I'm going to the Buddhist sanctuary that has that giant sitting Buddha that I periscoped back in 2016. I'm doing that again. You guys can join me if you want to. But in the evenings, I'm going to be, out and about and doing stuff, who knows, going to the night market or whatnot. What the heck, I've had COVID already, it doesn't matter. It's wear my mask, go around and have my gimbal, have my 360. I was hoping I could have my drone, I'd fly over the harbor, do some real cool stuff. No, not going to happen. I was hoping I could fly around the Buddha, because we can do that here, and it's like, nope, can't do it. Down the main drag, all those pagodas and stuff, nope, can't do it, no drone, just not available. So there you go. It's going to be, another month. Now, I got to shield my eyes for a second. Okay, we had a whole bunch of cloud cover come in, and now our moon, as you see, ladies and gentlemen, our moon is being covered by clouds. Now, on the camera is sensitive, and it can pick it up, and you can still see the moon through the clouds. But I'm going to tell you that with my eye, it's really dark. But you see this big, like, V kind of shaped thing. If you use your fingers and you move all around, you can see, like, right beside the moon, there's kind of a V-shaped clear area. It's pretty cool. I did a 360 video from my roof. I have a really tall, it's the stand that the ring light's on, and I put the invisible selfie stick on top of that, and I deploy the whole thing, and it's over 3 meters. And I did a really nice 360 video in the evening near sunset. The sun goes behind the factories, not the mountains. That's the ocean that way. And all the clouds were coming in, and they just kind of disappeared. It was amazing. But I don't want to really publish it because it's a video of the top of my house, and I realized when I saw it, I need to repaint the roof. Yeah, I had it waterproofed and painted about 10 years ago, 12 years ago. I need to do it again. Yeah, anyway. Water tanks are in good shape though. But these rails, if you see the rails beside me, the behind me and off to the side, the safety rails over here on this side where I'm pointing now, 2 feet. I don't mean a distance. I mean 2 like little feet that hold it to the roof have disintegrated. They just it's made out of iron, and it just rusted. So I can't have any parties up here or anybody up here, because if something were to happen, I mean, it's fine when nothing's wrong, but whenever accidents happen, it's because something's wrong. Somebody will trip and fall. They fall against that thing, it's going to bust. They're going to land on my carport 4 stories down. So Dean Martin was the guy who sang that song, and it was That's Amore. Yeah, the moon in your eye like a big pizza pie. Here comes a copyright strike. That's amore. I forget the rest of it goes. Anyway, I knew a guy that sang that, and he always goofed it up. He sang a couple of lines, and he just said, Crazy Mary, get out of bed. We needed the sheets for the table, all this stuff. I'm not Italian, but it was funny. Yeah, it was Bernie. I worked with him. He's from Rhode Island. So yeah, the moon in the sky is behind the clouds. Now if you look at it, if you scroll around your device, look at it now, see with my eyes, it's dark. She's really going away, folks, and we might lose it completely, but oh my goodness, this is cool though. Look right beside the phone. It looks like phone. Look right beside the moon on your device, and there's like a river up there. It's almost like, gosh, because sorry about this, the lights in my face. There is a very distinct, looks like a front line. See if you guys can see that. It is a very, very distinct line. See what I mean? Yeah, that's just really something. Look just right overhead, because you can just 360. You can just move device to explore video. Stop giving me this stupid prompt. I hate this. Every time I touch it, it gives me the prompt, and it's like I can't move it. I can't use my device because it doesn't work. I don't want to slide left or right to seek. I want to move the video. Okay. So yeah. Yeah, there's a very distinctive, like, wow, it's crazy because I can see a star through the patch of sky that's clear, but there's a line like right through there. Boy, is that something. That is really amazing. It's really amazing. Wish you guys could see it from my perspective. I'd have to turn around and kind of look up. Yeah, there it is. I mean, I can see it. It's not as dramatic on the app as it is in real life, but a lot of things are like that. But so how long have we been on during this iteration? So this looks like we've been on for 42 minutes and 45 seconds, and then we probably had about about the same amount of time maybe. So I think we've probably been on long enough that this could be considered to be a marathon. So there you go. Because I really don't even know, like, how much time I was. Okay, so SuperMoon number 1 was 11 minutes. Hang on, let me go to the videos. SuperMoon number 2. Okay, SuperMoon number 1, SuperMoon 360 number 1 was 11 minutes. SuperMoon 360 number 2 was 15 minutes. These are and some change. And so people are watching SuperMoon number 3 right now. That's what we got. I wish I could combine these, into one, but there's no way because I don't even have files for them. Like when I use Prism Live Studio, it creates files. So. But it's 1:36. I think it's time for me to pull a plug, ladies and gentlemen, and move all the stuff out of the way, let it charge up, just let it sit here with the cover on it, nice and safe, and just kick back and see if the moon comes out of the clouds. But just enjoy it for a while because it is nice and cool, and there are no mosquitoes, and that's a real blessing, not to have any mosquitoes. But before I go, I want to show you one thing. This is my new little fan. Goes around the neck, and there's a squirrel cage fan. This is the intake, and the air comes in and goes out here. Now they call this the camera fan because it's supposed to look like a camera. And the really funny thing is, because these are on little clips, so you can detach the, you can detach the strap. But I guess it's supposed to look like this. It doesn't really look like a camera, but it's supposed to be like an innocuous shape that people won't really notice it. But if you press and hold the button, you actually get a light, which is really cool. It's not like super bright, but at night, I mean, it's bright enough to do whatever you need to do, like, and then you press and hold it again, and there it is. And on the side, and it's USB-C, because everything now is becoming USB-C, which is great. My older fan was micro, and there is an LED on the side that is an indicator whether it's on or off and the charging state. And so I had this thing laying on its side, blowing over my phone, and it's been on for at least an hour, and it's fantastic. It's got a lot of juice left, and there's a stand in the back that you can flip out and just set it down on something, and so it's enough that maybe even if I have it up against my dead cat here, it might even like make a noise. Yeah, it probably does. But like just holding it back this way, like where it is now on my face, it's enough to really, really cool you off. And in this Taiwan sun, I wear a hat, keeps sun on my face, but in this Taiwan heat, man, this thing is amazing. I'm just upset that my other one broke, and I don't know why. I didn't use it a tremendous amount, but I used it. Well, you guys saw me use it a couple of weeks ago, so, because I was at that really creepy park and it was full of mosquitoes, so I put the thing around my neck and it blew the mosquitoes off my face. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it, and I will see you probably, well, we're leaving for Kaohsiung on Saturday, and I normally live stream on Sunday, so I'll find a way to do a live stream on Sunday night. Go ahead with a question, Mike. By the way, I made you a moderator. Go ahead. I may actually be in a really cool place, and I did find before that that other bar that kind of reminded me sort of like a no other way to put it, like just an imitation, a less expensive imitation kind of the cowboy bar, and the people were really nice there, so maybe I'll go in there and do something. But that was a moth that was bugging me, so maybe I'll go in there and check it out. But yeah, if you guys are out and about on Sunday, and I'm going to bring a guitar with me, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. I might bring it out somewhere, but I'll tell you something we could do. You've seen me live stream on YouTube from that canal for all those years, and it would be really super easy for me to attach that same it's like a snake mount for the phone, and so it's a corner thread. I could put the 360 camera on it, and we could do a 360 broadcast from the canal, which would be cool. We've never done that before. So Mike has a question, and we're going to wait until he asks the question before we officially sign off. But yeah, cool. When I was a kid, of course, I'm probably a little bit older than you, but I will honestly say that my first recollection when I was a kid of stuff made outside of the U.S. was made in Hong Kong. I had a lot of little toys, little metal toys that were hand painted, like little cars and stuff. And every one of them said made in Hong Kong. And I asked my dad where it was, and he said it was in the Orient, because back then you could say Orient, and you could say Oriental, nobody would take your head off, but now you got to say Asian. What's the difference? We still say Oriental in Chinese, but it was amazing. It was a city in Asia, you know. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't actually remember anything except food items being made in Taiwan until the computer age. When I was 19, you know, and I met those Taiwanese guys, you know, they would turn me on. There's a, all right, I'll give you something to check out, Mike. There's a company called Lanchi, Lanchi, Lanchi. Now they're in America. Just go to Lanchi, look them up on the internet, Lanchi. They made a garlic and chili paste that was out of this world. A little green labeled jar. It had like a white label with green, you know, color on it, and the same with the lid. The label, the lid was white, but it had green color on it. And I used to look, yep, but it was 2 words. I used to look everywhere for Lanchi, and I went to Chinatown, Boston, and they had it, and it would have, you know, it'd be like a little tiny jar, like maybe this, you know, not too big, right? But it would still have almost like full-size cloves of garlic in it. It was amazing. And the flavor, and it's just the spice just knocked me out. That's what really got me started, you know, on spices. And then when I finally came to Taiwan, I was like, hey, I can get that stuff here. No, you can't. It's not here anymore. They took it to America. It apparently was a Taiwanese family made product, and they moved to America and they did it there. They're doing it there now. I actually did see Lanchi garlic chili sauce in Taiwan one time. It was like 20 years ago, I think. And I didn't buy it because at that time I wasn't living here. I was still going back and forth to the States. But yeah, Mike, if you want to try that, man, yep. Look up Lanchi and, you know, see if you can find it in your local Asian Oriental food store. And oh man, the moon's gone. It's completely covered. But if not, you know, they can send it to you and tell me what you think of that. But there was a kind of pao mian, you know, instant noodles that we called sun li mian. Mian just means noodles. But it was Sun Li. It was S-U-N-L-I, Sun Li Mian. And that was huge, but they stopped making it. I guess there was some controversy that was like full of chemicals and stuff. But I remember when I was 19 or 20, all the time these guys were like, yeah, I like Sun Li Mian, Sun Li Mian, and they would eat it all the time. And they would put some Lanchi sauce in it or some other kind of hot sauce. But I got exposed to a very interesting part of culture because I realized when I was young there was something wrong with me that I don't really get hungry that much. I mean, like I go crazy, like I have been out on a date with a woman where the waiter or waitress comes and sets the bread down, and this person proceeds to just gorge on bread. I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm so hungry. I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, you ate lunch, didn't you? But I said, stop. We ordered a big meal, and I mean, what are you going to do? Eat the bread and just would not eat the meal? You want me to cancel the meal? And I just used to get so upset over, I never understood this ravenous hunger. And even when I would like fast, you know, I fast like for 1 or 2 weeks. You know, I don't know. I'm just different. But some of these Taiwanese guys that I used to hang out with, I remember one guy in particular, he was like, he just kept walking around the house going, hungry, 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 hungry. And I'm like, what do you want to eat? So, I don't think so. Mike, I've been doing this for years and they've never caught on. I don't think so. It'd be nice, but maybe in conjunction, if I do a recording, it becomes popular, maybe. But he would, I mean, I remember he just boiled a pot of water and threw some, like, I guess flat soba noodles, I guess, threw them in there, cooked them, put them in a bowl, and he's like wolfing it down. And he goes, oh yeah, and he goes to the ice box, and he gets, you know, some, like, probably lanchi sauce like that, and puts a spoon of it in the noodles and stirs it up. So it's basically just like flour noodles and hot sauce. And he was eating that stuff like it was like, you know, I don't know, crepe Suzette or something. It's crazy. I never understood that. He's like, you want some? I'm like, nah. Just plain noodles with hot sauce doesn't interest me. But he was like going nuts. Oh, Hunter. It's like, it's crazy. I never understood that. That's just me. But try some lanchi sauce and see what you think. All right, you guys, take care. Thank you so much, and I appreciate the support and the follows, and I appreciate, you know, you sharing the live stream and all the questions. Is cool, and I really enjoyed being able to come on and do this live stream in 360, and hopefully we solve the problem. And with my second device, I think we're gonna be okay. So my heritage is not. I'm German and Irish, which explains a lot. That's why I can drink so much. I tell people I want to take over the world, but I'd rather not. Yeah. But I promised you guys some dad jokes, and now's not the time, but I will have some dad jokes for you soon. But I just got one for you right now before we go, and here it is. An Irishman walks out of a bar. And that's it. So you guys take care. Fist bumping 360. The moon's in and out. See, you can catch her a little bit here before I go. The moon's in and out. It's kind of sort of peeking out there a little bit, but we had a really nice time with the moon tonight. And you can probably see the clouds moving. So yep, will do. Thanks so much. You guys take care, and we'll see you next time on the Real Taiwan. We're gonna say